What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about dating as a game. More specifically, women who say, I don't want to play games, I don't play games, right? How you're going to lose. These type of women will always lose, and I'm going to explain why this is the case, okay? So, jumping right into it, you have to understand, this is not like my opinion, this is a fact. Dating is a game. From an evolutionary perspective, it is best looked at as a game. And the reason for that is you're trying to get a result while minimizing risk along the way to get that result. The better you play those odds, okay, the better you're going to be, the more successful you're going to be, the more likely you're going to find someone instead of having your heart broken time and time and time again. And it only can happen so many times, women, where you're making these wrong decisions, and then you get this complex in your head that you feel like you're the problem, and then it starts going down from there, okay? So trust me, it's better to look at it as a game. Now, disclaimer, or I guess a thing a lot of people will say is, Elliot, I don't have to play it though. I can walk away from all this. I can say, hey bro, I don't like that you're playing this game, or I can tell you're playing a game. I'm not about that. I value my time. I'm out. Yes, you can absolutely do that. But two things on that, okay? Number one is you need to assume risk when you're playing. It is a game of risk. You need to assume the fact that the guy you're talking to on the other end, if you completely believe him, okay, not saying you do that when you first meet a guy, but if you're going to take everything that he says as fact or whatever, you're going to get destroyed in the game. It's not a coincidence. Again, leave a comment below if this is you. If you were one of these ladies who label yourself as nice, sweet, caring, kind, things like that, and you have a guy who's playing you right now, the reason you're losing is because you're nice, caring, sweet, and kind, stuff like that, to a man who doesn't deserve it. You have to play the game selfishly, okay? So let me give you an example of this called the prisoner's dilemma. Let's say you and I are talking to each other and we're semi-serious. You don't know yet. You don't know my intentions. But I'm doing everything correctly. And we agree on exclusivity, okay? We agree on being exclusive. Not in terms of a relationship, but not talking to anybody else. Here's the problem, ladies. If we both agree on it and follow through, okay, then great, everything's okay. It's a win-win. However, you do not know if I am following through. You have no idea if I am. However, I would be more sure than not that you are. Two reasons why. Number one, I think women have better integrity than men. Secondly, I don't think women, as you're watching this video, want to play as many games as men. I guess a third thing would be the sexual strategy of women is monogamy, okay? Whereas men, it is monogamous, but it's like serial monogamy. It's like men like to talk to multiple women and stuff like that prior to being in a relationship. So it's just not in the man's sexual strategy. So with all that being said, you have to assume risk, because if you don't, you're gonna get screwed like I'm about to explain. If we agree to be an exclusive and you're exclusive and I'm not, but you think I am, I win. I win the game because I can have my cake and eat it too. Okay? I can have my cake and eat it too while you're still sitting there being a good girl with integrity, like you should. You have good morals and values. That's awesome. But in the game, you're getting screwed, okay? So you should never make these assumptions that, you know, the guy you're talking to isn't playing games. He might not be, but for maybe the slim chance that he is playing games, you lost, right? So you have to play accordingly. It is a game of risk. You cannot assume that the guy you're talking to is on the same page as you 100% all the time. You will get screwed. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I can understand where women say, well, I'm not playing games, you know, with the guy. I'm pulling away. I'm pulling away if he pulls that bullshit. But what if you are talking to a guy who you like and who you think is doing the right thing and you stick around? It is still a game because, again, not only the avoiding risk thing, but it's just in our nature as humans. It is just in our DNA to be resourceful. You heard me say it in my other videos. We're just resourceful creatures. If I can somehow cut corners and get what I want easier, I'm going to do so. And now you might be like, well, I guess what he's asking isn't that bad. It's not that bad what he's asking. I mean, he's been good up to this part. He wants me to come over. Yeah, let me come over and let me give it to him. Like, whatever. He's a good dude. I don't think anything's wrong with that. Again, you're right, but you have to understand the game sways. It goes back and forth. It changes over time. And I call this the negotiation. So, for example, while that might be good, it's like, okay, I'll give it to him. Fine, cool, awesome. And you guys do that, okay? And let's say after you hook up, everything's still cool. Over time, these little negotiations, meaning it doesn't even always have to be things you guys say. It could be things you guys do, right? Like, they start to kind of, again, sway in one person's favor. So right now he might be asking you to come over and be, and you might think nothing of it. But a month from now, you get this, you start to get this feeling that something's off. You're like, we used to go on a lot of dates, but now we don't. And that was you, right? And if that just happens and that like passed off and you didn't even realize it passed you by and you didn't even realize it, that's because he was playing the game and you weren't. You were making the assumption that everything's okay between you guys, when in reality it is naturally built in our DNA. Whether he's doing it consciously or subconsciously, it's going to happen. We just save on resources. If it gets to the point where a man can ask you to come over and the odds are in his favor of asking that and you doing so, he's going to do it, especially if there's no consequence in him asking, which there shouldn't be, because if you and I are talking, let's say we've been on 10 dates and I'm starting, it's reasonable for me to ask you to come over and you not be like, why are you asking me to come over, you fucking creep? Why you sound like all these other guys now and you punish me for it. No, why would you do that? Like, we've hooked up before. This is our 10th date. Things are going well. Like, what's wrong with me asking you to come over? You're not going to flip out over that. So that's what I mean. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. That naturally swings in the logic of him going down that path, or that it being reasonable for him to ask you to come over instead of taking you on a date, or a man pushing a woman's boundaries naturally because she's not going to just end it, right? Because he did something wrong, when you have all this dating experience and whatever time together. I hope that makes sense. I don't know a better way to explain it. But again, it's a game of risk is the first thing. And the second thing is, even if you don't pull away and you stick around, okay? I'm just rephrasing everything, or I'm just repeating it. When you stick around, okay, and time goes on together as a couple, you're not going to punish him for trying these little things here and there, which gives him more of the inclination, or he's more inclined to do it then, right? To take these little shortcuts. It'd be stupid for him not to. So that's why you always have to play the game, ladies. You always have to play the game, okay? Hopefully all that made sense. And again, if you want more on that, I literally have a guide down below on what men want, what men commit to, and how to play a game, like the power dynamics, what to give to a guy, when to give these things to a guy. Hell, I even have a guide below on how to tell if a guy is actually interested in you and where you fall on the spectrum of 1 to 10 in his eyes, okay? So you can use those 3 guides to kind of dictate what you need to do. Hopefully this helps you. I just want you to know that, ladies, that you have to play the game, okay? That's what you have to do. For women who are like, I'm not playing games, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Even the good guys play games, okay? So that being said, I love you all. Take care and peace.